Kippos vs. Enamord, or Shadow Spy, or Anric. Goes by many names.
Yeah, neither of them StarCraft names different. The Hungry Choir versus Anric, also Shadow Spy and Enamord Kippos. And yes, it is time for some CVZ.
On the top
VZ.
left, the
VZ.
purple Zerg, Kippos, the Hungry Choir. On the bottom right, the green Zerg, Anric, Enamord, Shadow Spy. Both basic Zerg skins, both on a map that's not very Zerg friendly. And taunting each other in chat.
Hatchery's on the way.
Yeah, Kippos went for a super early hatchery, which is always an interesting choice. Now this has turned into flirtation. I feel like I should turn the stream off. Oh well, if I get demonetized, it's your fault. I never was monetized, so...
Yeah, I was gonna say, how much are you making off of this?
Yeah. So... I don't want to like this map, but I do. Because I really like the way units have to move in a Z. It's not very mature of me. And I like that the Zerg pillar isn't really that near the natural. So I can do whatever I want pretty safely.
Yeah, it's a nice map.
Yep.
I kind of like the thirds. Interesting choices there.
Yeah. It's got a very confusing Reaper wall, which is always annoying against Terran. But since none of the players who play Terran do mean stuff with Reapers, I'm fine.
Yeah.
Neither of them very aggressive. I mean, some Zerglings out for Kippos. Just like 4 Zerglings to be safe, but... Enamord going for a very fast lair.
Both players actually going for a fast lair.
Yeah.
Expect we're gonna see some Roach Hydra versus Roach Hydra.
Yes. This is a map that's very easy to wall. Again, why Zerg isn't great in it. But yeah, Roach Warren down for Enamord faster than it is for Kippos.
And Kippos getting started right away on the creep spread.
Yeah. The only person in the entire league who spreads creep. Yeah, you're both macro players, but you know, you can harass while being a macro player.
I don't know, that sounds dangerously like aggression to me.
Yeah. And yeah, it is nice to just build a 200 to 100 army before your opponent can, and then mash it into their face. There is a lot of appeal to that gameplay. Kippos doesn't believe in walls. Has all of her stuff in her main. Keeps it close to heart.
I mean, if you have enough creep to see them coming from a mile away, do you really need a wall?
Yeah, it's not like Zerg units are faster on creep or something. So, oh.
Details.
Yeah. Both players expanding to a third. And Kippos has started getting roaches. Enamord has a roach lead. Kippos hunting down an overlord. With these very slow queens. Yeah. Enamord investing more into economy. With Kippos getting upgrades. Yeah, Enamord also has roach speed before Kippos. Kippos hasn't even started it.
Although Enamord does have a faster +1 weapons
And
is now starting on +2 weapons. Kippos has armor upgrades on the way.
Yeah.
And,
Neither player
Kippos
seems to believe in army.
No.
No.
Although Kippos does control 22 creep tumors, so
20, 30 something now, I guess. I don't know.
yeah.
But yeah, that's good creeping.
$29. And more on the way.
And roaches on the way. Yeah. Kippos has slightly fewer workers, but oh no, that's more than slightly fewer. That's 10 fewer. That's 15 fewer. Look, that is a very decent roach count. Enamord going into Hydralisks already. At least for their upgrades. And so's Kippos. Also remembering roach speed. And getting an infestation pit. That's fast. Both players at equal bases.
Yep.
But Enamord's economy is going to turn into
that's
units at a certain point.
That's a very large worker lead there.
Yeah. His fourth is oversaturated. No, none on gas. So it could be time to take a fifth.
Yeah. And it looks like there is a drone moving out to do that. Yep. Fifth base being taken in the bottom left.
Yeah. Kippos trying to... Getting 2 spires too, okay. And a hive. So, broodlords, maybe?
Yeah. I know Kippos likes to go for broodlords, although oftentimes does not get there in time, but...
I mean, they're very good. I do like them a lot. The Guardian was like my favorite unit in StarCraft 1, after the Lurker. So, a better Guardian is a good unit.
Yep.
But yeah, the hive is up, so... And both players are nearly maxed.
Yep.
Kippos has more of an army.
Yeah, although Enamord does have a sizable bank.
Yeah,
So
I mean,
if
both
they
players do.
If they just throw units at each other, Kippos, if she can get Broodlords up, maybe we'll have an edge, but Enamord can definitely remax more.
Yeah, so Kippos sees Enamord's army. And that's actually very good for Kippos to have the first wave of Hydralisks hit Roaches. Because Roaches actually beat Hydralisks one for one. And yeah, Kippos also has an upgrade lead. But yeah, this is pretty good. Wipes out Enamord's army.
Still just replacing with Roaches.
Yeah. But getting 3/3 upgrades on the way. Enamord hasn't even started 2 armor. But Enamord is also fully remaxed. And Kippos is low on gas. And could actually use more workers.
Enamord actually not doing too badly on the creep spread.
No, they're... Yeah. We're watching the 2 players with the best creep spread in the league. And yes, I am making fun of every single Mistborn Zerg.
Not at Kippos' level, who is approaching 100 creep tumors, but...
Yeah. So, Enamord does decide to have his unit stop zigzagging.
I move out again and engage upper ramp, which is not ideal.
Yeah, Kippos does get a very good concave. And has the upgrade lead. And does kill the army, but there are 24 Hydralisks right behind them. On their way.
Yeah. And this is what Enamord does best, just throw armies out there over and over until eventually one of them wins.
Yeah. So Kippos killing Enamord's creep tumors.
Still has done nothing with these 2 spires.
Yeah.
Which is understandable, but a bit disappointing.
Yeah. The 3/3
really like
is
to see
out
some
though,
Broodlords.
which is huge. And we're looking at Hydra versus Hydra. There is a single roach that ran ahead, and there are roaches on the back line trying to get ahead, but failing. And the concave is very good for Enamord.
Yeah, but 3/3 is also quite good.
Yeah. Kills Enamord's creep and a random roach. Alright, Enamord is on more bases. Kippos is starting to mine out hers. Though slowly, because she also doesn't have as many workers.
And that is a lurker den for Enamord.
Yeah, lurkers are very, very good against this style. Think they deal more damage to armored, plus they deal splash.
Yeah.
Problem is that Kippos already does have overseers in her army, or at least she did. Yes, she does. So it won't be as dangerous as it could be.
This is a
Yeah.
very narrow choke for both players.
Yeah. Good concave, nice concave for the roaches.
Yep.
And the hydralists also do very well. Kippos drops 10,000 changelings for some reason. And yeah, I think the upgrade advantage really decided that one.
Yeah. Kippos has burned through almost all of Enamord's bank.
Yeah, and still has a massive bank of her own.
If he loses this next army, he might not be able to remax.
Okay, and there are 5 queens just fighting and constantly healing each other. Because this is absolutely ridiculous.
One of them finally goes down.
Yeah, they're finally going to go down, but only Kippos could have the creep spread to use queens as an aggressive unit.
Yep.
And yeah, does attack with her army. I just thought that queens are good as an aggressive unit this way.
They are very annoying.
Yeah, they just have a lot of life. They don't deal much damage, especially not to ground. So they can't exactly kill bases. But yeah. Seismic spines being researched.
But it might be too little too late.
Yeah, Enamord's economy is dead. All
Out
Kippos
of money,
has also
out of
finally made
army.
up the worker lead. And yeah, those drones all die.
That's probably the game.
And yeah, GG goes down. Kippos wins round 1. So round 2 is going to be on Eternal Empire. And on the top right, Green Zerg. God damn it.
On the top right, with a normal greeting, like a normal person, we have Anric, the Green Zerg, also known as Enamord or Shadow Spy. And in the bottom left, our Purple Zerg with a greeting. I guess is a technically accurate way to describe that sentence that I was forced to read. We have Kippos, the Hungry Choir.
Going for a very, very fast hatchery, which does seem to be Kippos' style. Getting a hatchery before an Overlord. I wonder how that works economically. Can't imagine it's great. Especially when you're not a player who does the extractor trick. But it works for her, so, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. So spawning pool. All very, very normal. Except for everything about Kippos.
Yeah. All very normal from these players.
Yeah. I really like the Terran music, though it's a little bit loud for me. I'm going to lower it.
Very normal stuff. Overlord's moving out across the map. Queen's finishing up.
Yeah, Overlord going onto the pillar. Oh no, moving away. Okay. I was going to say, it's not very good to move an Overlord to the pillar when you're against the Zerg, but Enamord knows that.
And Kippos once again starting on the creep spread.
That's actually a little bit fast. At this point, it is better to have an inject for more drones, or, you know, anything that anything aggressive.
Does kill an Overlord, which will supply block Kippos for a little bit.
Yeah. Oh wow, that's 2 tumors. Yeah, both players going for the Roach Warren Evo Chamber. Kippos with 2 Evo Chambers.
Yep. It looks like roughly the same builds we saw last game. At least so far.
Yeah. So, Enamord does have a slight worker advantage, but and is getting speed and attack.
Yep. Once again, Enamord with an early worker lead, slightly earlier first upgrades.
Yeah. Kippos getting tons and tons of creep tumors.
Yep.
Gotta creep fast. Queen's all going to kill this Overlord. Get revenge. And Enamord already getting a third.
Yep.
Yeah, Enamord's natural is oversaturated. And she's gonna start early mining.
Enamord still missing the second gas in the main, which, from what I know, seems to be a fairly common Zerg problem.
As a general rule, what I've seen most Zerg do is get 1 gas, and then get 5 more once there are 3 bases.
Yep.
But the vibe build is a little bit gas heavy, so that's a Hydralisk Den and a very early infestation pit somewhere. No, that's Kippos getting an infestation pit. Okay.
Yep. Kippos is presumably once again going up to Hive Tech.
Yeah. Yeah, you do only need 3 gas to support roaches and 6 to support hydras.
Kippos finishing a third just as Enamord starts a fourth.
Yeah. So Enamord's got a pretty decent lead.
Yeah.
Also an army, not quite in upgrades,
but it is quite a bit closer than it was last game in upgrades.
Yeah, creep tumors make such a weird squelching sound. Long distance mining the 4th too.
Yep. Slightly oversaturated in the main and still not mining from that. There we go. Fixes that as I mentioned it.
Upgrades coming out. Both of these players are very confident in how they're not going to get attacked, so it could be interesting if one of them decides to take advantage of that in the future and
Yep.
cheeses the other.
I can say from experience with my time in this league that most of the players are not prepared to handle early cheeses.
Yeah, early cheeses work. Except against Bismarck.
Yep.
Another Overlord down, but yeah. Here's a brief moment in time when they both have equal upgrades.
And Kippos does have Hive Tech.
Yeah, but no,
Which
but nothing that
appears
uses
to
it yet.
just be for 3/3 right now, but
Not even 3/3 yet.
yeah. But likely starting, yep, now as 2/2 finishes.
Yeah, Shadow Spy says Kippos wanted a macro game, which, I mean, you never give your opponent what they want. The creep is almost touching. They almost have a perfect path towards each other. And the queens are off creep. Let's see if Enamord takes advantage of that, but it looks like he won't. Enamord is going to try to attack in a circle.
Yep.
Nope, doesn't take advantage of that, instead just kills the queens on creep.
Yep. Forces a cancel on the hatchery.
Yeah.
And moves in to attack the third, and Kippos appears to be going for a base trade.
Yeah, except going for a base trade when you're behind on bases, units, and upgrades is never a great idea.
Although Enamord is, it looks like, retreating to go deal with Kippos' army, so it seems to be working alright.
That's...
His army does split to engage, so this fight does not go as well as it could have, but he does manage to clean up Kippos' army.
Yep. Now he has more bank, more income, and more army.
Although Kippos is taking the top left base.
Yeah, but Enamord's
which
army
will now be
is headed
spotted
there.
by this roach.
The roach sees it, and the army follows to destroy it. And yeah. Kippos is in trouble.
Yep. Enamord is re-establishing the two bases he lost. And winning this skirmish over here.
Kills these roaches that were rallied out.
And Kippos is now only on 2 mining bases, both of which are mostly mined out. This is not looking great.
No. But, huh? Looks like Enamord is gonna give him a chance. Give her a chance.
He
Another
does have
army on the way.
a significant army supply lead.
Yeah, Enamord is maxed out, so. Enamord's army is queued up. reached the base. Now Kippos has an upgrade lead, but that doesn't matter when the supplies are this different.
Outnumbered.
Yeah.
Kippos now has more creep tumors than other selectable things put together.
And Enamord wins. So that is a 1-1. So the final round. I'm gonna need you to accept.
Yep.
So the final round will be on Jagannatha, which I just mispronounced and I realized I mispronounced, but I've been mispronouncing much worse, as it turns out. It turns out it's it's a word in one of the Indian languages, I'm not sure which one, that translates into Juggernaut. That's where the word comes from, and they should sound very similar. So it should sound a lot like Juggernaut. Anyway. On the top
Kippos.
right, the degenerate dinosaur Zerg. Kippos.
I'll take it. It's a step up. And
On
the bottom left are Green Zerg, Henrik, Enamord, Shadow Spy.
So this is another map with speed zones, except they are very large speed zones. And yeah, I also just like its design. It's got really nice lily pads.
The corner bases can be interesting.
The lily pads are pretty good.
Yep.
Both players seem to be doing their normal builds.
Yep. One day someone's gonna learn how to cheese, and then it'll all be over. But until then, we can watch Roach Hydra armies run into each other.
Yeah. I'm just looking at this Overlord. When you level up Zerg, you get this aquatic Overlord skin that's fascinatingly ugly.
Yeah.
And does look pretty normal. Yeah, they're all just getting queens and drones. So every map has an animal, and I don't see any of the animal on this map. And maybe there isn't one for this map.
There was one wandering around near one of the acceleration zones as an Overlord flew by, but I do not see it now.
Yeah. So Shadow Spy says that he did used to cheese, but now he wants to learn macro. You know, and macro is important, but cheesing is where the real game of StarCraft is.
Spoken like a true Protoss.
Alright. As a true Protoss, this gap is so nice.
Yep, and here is our animal. I have found it.
Oh, it's a dog.
Yep. But yes, this is a nice gap for warp prisms, proxy Stargate units, just anything.
Yeah. In general, I like this map for Protoss. And I like this map. Wherever it is. That is a very lost dog.
Yeah.
And he's trying to... He just climbed the pillar.
Okay.
He is incredibly lost.
He is very lost and very talented.
Yeah. Enamord building roaches.
Once again, very standard. Enamord getting roaches and a third. Kippos spreading creep.
Does get an evolution, 2 evolution chambers. Does Kippos have a roach? Warren?
Kippos does not appear to have a roach warren.
Alright. I mean, it's not terrible to not have a roach warren, but it is very strange considering they've been getting roach warrens these whole games. And a Hydralisk den.
There's a Hydralisk den.
So this is on purpose. Terrifying. I don't like change.
And taking a fourth.
Yeah.
Kippos is trying something.
And a macro hatch. And the dog is on creep. I can't select the dog to see how much health it has. Or what its name is.
Either.
This is tragic.
Enamord still has a worker lead, but not by much.
And getting tunneling claws. Okay, both of these players are doing strange stuff in this game. Kippos doesn't have detection for it.
Does have a lair, so she could make an overseer, but...
Yeah. But who gets tunneling claws? What kind of weird player do you have to be to get that?
And Enamord is taking this corner base. And a fifth.
Overlord gets hunted down by queens in the middle of the map. And an infestation pit. And a lurker den.
Kippos is trying to play the long game.
Yes, Shadow Spy, you got tunneling claws. You can also see tunneling claws on roaches because if you look at Anric's roaches here, they have these bright green growths on them.
Yep.
These spikes. Okay, it must have been a misclick. Tunneling claws is actually good. It lets your roaches become DTs.
I mean, they still can't attack while burrowed.
Yeah.
So, not as good as DTs.
No. But they do have, you know, more... They can survive a stiff breeze.
Well, yeah, but stiff breezes are cheating.
Alright, Lurker Den is finished. And Kippos is getting a fifth too.
Yep. Although Enamord does have a significant army supply lead.
Yeah. If Enamord acts on it, that would be not nice.
And is moving out now. Kippos
Kippos
is
is getting
now reached
army.
80 workers and is creating army, but
Yeah.
Enamord still has a brief moment of time to strike.
But that is 9 lurkers.
That is, yeah, that is quite some number of lurkers.
Yeah. Gets a cancel on the 5th.
Yep.
And the lurkers burrow. And yeah, it turns out lurkers are good.
Lurkers are good against Hydralisks.
And against roaches.
Yeah, they're perfectly fine against roaches.
And yeah, that was Enamord's army just disappearing.
Yeah. Kippos making more lurkers.
Doing a pretty nice magic trick, I have to say. And just like that, the army supply lead has been reversed.
Yep.
Does Kippos have any lurker upgrades? No. Too
No.
bad. Seismic spines are great, and their other one is very good too.
Yeah.
Okay. Enamord also has a lurker then. But Kippos has 3-3 on the way. And seismic spines, okay.
Queens will be picked off eventually.
Yeah, Queens got picked off. And the 5th base gets picked off. And this army is going
once
to
again,
die again.
This army walks up a ramp into lurkers.
Yeah. And most of it dies. Kippos learned her lesson, builds a 5th in a different place.
And moves out with Lurker Hydra.
Yeah. So, A-moving lurkers is one of those things that you really do need to be careful about. But they should give lurkers a melee attack. You know, they have a big horn on their head. They should be allowed to use it. And
while we're requesting things, Terrans should be able to crush units by landing buildings on them, but...
yes. Alarak agrees. So, Enamord was about to kill Kippos' 5th, but comes back to send his army to die.
The heist of the lurkers again. The overseers arrive, and the lurkers, several of them do die, but not quite fast enough.
Yeah, and Hydralisks cheat and turn into more lurkers.
The lurkers move over to go attack
into this mineral line. And annihilate it.
Lurkers are good units, it turns out.
Yeah. They do well against ground armies. GG goes down. And yeah. So that was 2-1 to Kippos.